impacts have peaked. However, the impacts are still there. It is a Category 1 hurricane, continues to bring those big impacts to the East Coast. States like North Carolina and Maryland getting walloped with dangerous coastal conditions over the last few days. And as we go through today, as Erin starts to move out of here, has begun the extra tropical transition. And by tonight, expected to be a post-tropical system. However, those outer bands extend quite a distance. Here is the very latest from the National Hurricane Center coming in just moments ago. Still a Category 1 hurricane at 90-mile-per-hour winds is what we've got. And look how ragged it is. Not much going on. You can still see what's going on here. A lot of those bands extend quite a distance. Maine, this thing is booking it and has been booking it. Moving northeast at 22 miles per hour away as forecasted from a direct landfall with the United States or land. But those outer rain bands, they're still having an effect on us. So it's still cautionary tale for the day, trying to get to the beaches.
Oh, definitely. And you know what? Get out of here as fast as it can. We want it gone.
Yeah.
But definitely going to be impacting a lot of areas, especially for folks that are wanting to get into the water. You still can't. We still want to make sure people are staying safe. Those rip currents and that high surf, intense surf is going to be pretty gnarly for a little bit longer here. But I mean, you can see the pressure has gone up, which is an indicator that it's weakening just a little bit. So there's some good news as this storm starts to move on out towards the northeast.
Here's what's pretty impressive with this is the size, which of course we've been talking about for a while, right? We said it's going to expand in size. It's moving to the north. The hurricane force winds themselves extend about 125 miles from the center of the storm here. And then those tropical storm force winds, 40 miles per hour or greater, extend 370 miles per hour from the center of the storm. So you're feeling some pretty strong winds close to, say, the Cape Cod today. We'll be dealing with some winds probably below that criteria, but you could see some gusts that will reach that, especially for the morning hours. And then eventually, as it lifts out of here, Maine, we'll start to see those winds diminish. But nonetheless, places like Maine are still going to be dealing with some of the winds. The wave energy is still there, so are the rip currents.
Yeah, the wave energy, I was going to say, it is so strong. Even seeing images coming out of Outer Banks and now heading towards the northeast have been kind of scary, honestly, looking at those images. So you still want to stay out of the waters. I mean, the rip current threat is all up and down the coast still, and this is going to continue for just a little bit longer. So still staying out of the water, especially for the northeast for later on this week or into the weekend. But I mean, wave heights are still intense, even as the storm starts to die out. I mean, what, 13 feet as we head up towards the coast? I mean, that's incredible. I mean, for a lot of, surfers, probably exciting, but not for us folks who don't want to be in that.
I would say they're probably the only ones who can navigate this, and even then, they have to be careful. And they know the risks. They've been doing it for quite some time. By the way, still expecting, especially during some of the higher tides, some of the inundation, the water inundation. Remember the gravitational pull of the moon as well, also playing into this. But when we talk about this, we still have these coastal flood warnings through today. It does include portions of southern New Jersey, right in through the Delmarva, Chesapeake Bay as well. You've got a lot of that, especially during high tide, so we got to watch closely. Up to the north, same story. When we look at the storm surge trend for Hatteras, 1.4 feet. So as you'll notice, we went through this yesterday, we talked about it, and then went through high tide. Now going down as the storm pulls away as well. So that's some good news for us there.
Yeah, definitely great news, because even though we still have the high tide we have to worry about for the Carolinas, as this storm starts to move up towards the north, more of that threat going to be impacting, well, more of the north, more of the northeast for us now. But even as we look here, I mean, Duck 9 in North Carolina, over almost 3 feet of that storm surge or that total wave energy. I mean, that just shows you how powerful this thing was. And still, it's hundreds of miles away and still able to do that, which is incredible. But thankfully, as we start to move throughout the next few hours here, the winds die out and it'll potentially become subtropical.
Yeah, especially by this afternoon and evening is what we're looking at. And you're talking about that from the National Hurricane Center, the discussion at 5 a.m. as well. Here's what we look at with the future, the exclusive Fox weather model. As we look at the future radar and clouds, you will still see some cloudy conditions at times, especially closer to the coast over New England, portions of Maine for sure. This pulls away by this afternoon, and at the rate that it's going, 22 miles per hour, it's on a fast track to get out of here. It's below school zone limit, but for this type of system, it's fast.
Yes, and that's what we want. We want to hear. We want it out of here now, and we want to be able to go back to the beaches. But on top of this too, we might get a couple of outer rain bands, maybe a little cloudy for us. But a lot of that rain that we're going to end up seeing later on this week, that'll be from a different system. So we'll get to that.